Good morning and welcome to the morning deal happening right here on Dissect TV. Remember, you can catch us on Dissect TV, that is on Signet. You can also watch us on dissecttv.com or get us on Facebook and YouTube Live, which you can also leave us your feedback or send it to us on 23595. Or send it to our WhatsApp number, which is the number running on your screen. My name is Kelvin Mongai.
And I am Wairimu Muga. Thank you so much once again for choosing Dissect TV as your channel of choice. And today being a beautiful day, a beautiful Wednesday. How was yesterday?
Well, yesterday was wonderful.
All right.
Although you were missed, we did miss you.
Right, thank you. I had a good day though. Thank you so much. So we're going to be taking you through the papers. Later on, Kelvin will be joined by guests to discuss what's happening in the political arena. And in my segment, Let's Talk with Wairimu, today is about animal health. I'm sure you want to wait and see how that discussion will be. So,
yes. Indeed. And before we get into the dailies, how about we talk about a little bit of our health? Because, I have talked to a few doctor friends of mine and they tell me that the best time to take water is during the morning.
Sure.
When you wake up, when your stomach is empty. That is the best. And today we have this liter of water from Regis Premium Water, pure drinking water. It is so crystal clear and it looks absolutely amazing. I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
I already feel thirsty. It's a good thing we have water with us.
Sure. And water is something you should take every part of your day. Like, this is 1 liter. You should take 2 of this per day and make sure it is Regis Premium Water.
Indeed. Now, I have with me the Daily Nation, as always, and Wairimu will be taking you through the Standard. Now, on the headlines page, there are quite a few stories, and the main one is Uhuru Raila reveals secret poll shocker for aspirants. This is a story that continues on page 4, and it is basically talking about what will happen, what may happen come the party nominations that are set for later on in the year, before, so that now they can select the people who will be the flag bearers of the Azimio la Umoja movement.
I have the Standard newspaper and it has several headlines. The major headline being Ruto's name looms large at ICC trials, and there's a short one there that says big man shadow, details of bravery, threats and intimidation against witnesses emerge in Paul Gicheru's trial at The Hague. Name of DP crops up as prosecution lays out case. That story is on page 6 and 7 of the Standard newspaper. And another story that is on page 4 is the new Mudavadi aggressive and assertive. That is a story we'll also be checking out, as well as Sabina loses round 1 of rigging case.
Still on the story of ICC, Daily Nation has titled that story Ghosts of Hague for Ruto. Witness tampering trial. The deputy president might be several thousands of kilometers away, and it is almost 6 years since his case at the International Criminal Court in The Hague collapsed. But he remains the star of the ongoing trial of Kenyan lawyer Paul Gicheru. That is a story that is on page 7. Then there's a story on health, why you should go slow on paracetamol. Now, this is something that I think a lot of people should read, because there have been these rising cases of deaths that are occurring because of our resistance to medication. And this is something that I suggest that everyone reads. That is a story that is happening on page 10 of the Daily Nation. New study suggests that long-term use of popular painkiller, especially to manage hangovers, could lead to serious health complications, including liver and kidney ailments. And then a story on page 3, first Kenyan to go public on HIV status dies at 63. I can imagine the kind of stigmatization that this man lived through. When he first came out with his HIV status.
Sure. He said he was HIV positive when HIV was not known in the country, or when it was in the initial stages where there was a lot of stigma, there was a lot of hate. However, his coming out came as a good way to tell people that, hey, HIV is there, it is not a death threat for you, and you can survive through it.
And indeed, he played a vital role in the fight against the stigmatization of those living with HIV and AIDS.
Sure, checking out on that story on page 6 and page 7 of the Standard newspaper is about DP Ruto and ICC. And according to writer Kamau Muthoni, IECC deputy prosecutor says Gicheru is responsible for offences against administration of justice. Prosecution claims team was armed with army and with money and promises to cause mass walkout of witnesses in Ruto's case. So this story basically tells what happened to DP Ruto's case on ICC. You remember that they went to ICC together with Uhuru Kenyatta. However, Uhuru Kenyatta was acquitted. So now we have DP Ruto still on ICC, and according to this story, what happened, what had been offered, court told, was between 1.5 million and 2.5 million. According to prosecutor, witnesses tampering commenced early in 2013 and continued. So basically what they are trying to say is that Ruto kind of bribed the witnesses to walk out of the case. However, this is still ongoing, and well, this story is coming back at such a time during elections, then I know there could be a political drive behind it, and we only hope that the case cannot be like connected to elections and be a free judicial kind of a case. Yes.
And it's interesting the amount of money that the witnesses were offered.
Yes, there is a chart there depending from witnesses number 1 to witnesses number 8 and how much each was offered. And James Stewart, who is the deputy prosecutor, said immediately following his meeting with P0613 and P0495 was intercepted and interviewed under condition by OTP investigators. It's a wide story, and it's on page 6 and 7. You'd want to grab that and get into more details about that.
Yes, now on the story about Uhuru Raila Sikh pollsters' help with Azimio primaries dilemma. There is a bit of an inset there with the people who are in what parties that are in the Azimio. There is Party of National Unity, Peter Munya. There is Upia Movement, Ukur Yatani. The United Progressive Alliance, Fred Matiang'i. The Democratic Action Party of Kenya, Eugene Wamalwa. National Alliance, Rainbow Coalition, Charity Ngilu. Excuse my Kikuyu, the L and the R. Charity Ngilu, Maendeleo Chapchap, Alfred Mutua, Ubuntu People's Forum, Lee Kinyanjui, Kenya Union Party, John Lonyangapuo, Pamoja African Alliance, Amason Kingi Devolution Empowerment Party, Kiraitu Murungi, and Muungano Party of Kenya, Professor Kivutha Kibwana. Now, it says that the study will assist us to manage sibling rivalry. There will be an Azimio candidate for all positions, Mr. Murithi told The Nation. A source in Mr. Odinga's camp added, this is the surest way to present popular candidates and curb violent protests from disputed primaries. Nominating popular candidates will end this negative tradition in our primaries. Well, we do wish them all the best. Again, the time when the party primaries comes along is when we get to see the worst side of our politicians, because at the time there is a lot of talk of betrayal and a lot of moving from one camp to the other. But let's see whether this strategy will work for the Azimio movement. The aim is to have a supermajority in parliament that will push through the coalition's agenda. Should Mr. Odinga win the election, apart from Orange Democratic Movement and Jubilee, there are many other parties in Azimio. These other many parties are the ones that I mentioned earlier on, and the ones that are in the snippet on page 4 under that story.
It's something we look up to see. Well, yesterday was a busy court with Wafula Chebukati, who is IEBC chairman, and women rep Sabina Chege, or Muranga County women rep Sabina Chege. And pictured there on page 12 of the Standard newspaper, we see Muranga women rep with Senator James Orengo and MP Otiende Amolo, who are part of her defense team, and other leaders at the IEBC offices at Anniversary Towers, Nairobi, yesterday. Yes, pictured there is the mentioned, and Women Reps legal team led by Senator Orengo argued that IEBC was overreaching its mandate. Well, what's happening here is allegations of well, Sabina said something of votes being stolen, and it didn't augur well with IEBC. So Wafula Chebukati, who is IEBC chair, said that it is against the Electoral Code of Conduct. And so yesterday, the Electoral Code of Conduct Enforcement Committee has jurisdiction, and the committee is legally seized of the matter. The preliminary objection is dismissed, and the matter proceeds to a full hearing. So what basically happened is that after Sabina and his legal team went to IEBC offices over this matter, they failed to get to terms, and IEBC chairman Wafula Chebukati said he will not pardon Sabina over what she said. Rather, they will have a full hearing on the court. The story proceeds to the courts.
And in my opinion, this is how it should be. This is how things should be done. You know, our leaders should not be allowed to get away with just about anything that they say.
Sure.
There should be consequences. Now, still on the political front, release report on KEMSA scandal, Ruto dares Uhuru. This is still on the battle of words that is between the president and his deputy. And the DP now says, addressing supporters in Kajiado yesterday, the DP alleged that the Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga, the presumptive candidate of the Azimio la Umoja movement in the August 9th general elections, has benefited from the scam. The opposition has failed you. You, into quotes, Mr. Odinga, came and participated in the looting and corruption. You stole even from KEMSA. You have no authority to discuss corruption in government, Dr. Ruto claimed in a Kenya Kwanza Alliance rally in Kimana, Kajiado South. It is, I think this is in response to what has been the Azimio la Umoja people have been saying about the deputy president and his supporters, his colleagues, about how they are corrupt and how if they clinch power or the top position in the country, then they will loot the whole country, and because it is something that they have been doing. And now the deputy president says that Raila Odinga and his teammates who were in the opposition came into the government and they actually stole from KEMSA. That is a story that I'm sure was publicized, and most of you may be familiar with the story about the COVID billionaires and how these people benefited from the money that was supposed to help the country in surviving during the tough COVID times.
Well, about any of these parties calling each other corrupt, well, I feel like it's asking who is the better, the devil than the other. Well, that's my opinion.
Yeah, it will be a case of the pot calling the kettle black.
Sure. Well, and why I say that is a story on page 12 of the Standard newspaper, and this is about the welcoming of NYS scam suspect Ann Girita. And yesterday at Nakuru branch, Ann Girita was welcomed to Jubilee Party. However, Ann Girita was to vie on UDA ticket. However, she says, I had moved to UDA because I felt Jubilee Party was losing its popularity. When President Uhuru Kenyatta came out to give direction to the party, I felt need for me to return hope. Girita said she identified herself with the challenges the ordinary women face. I know some people will mudsling me, but I'm ready for that. I'm a mother. I know what women in this country want. That was her feedback. And while she was asked about the corruption case, Ngirita said that that matter would not hinder her political ambitions. Well, it's interesting to see Jubilee Party and Azimio la Umoja coming together and calling each other thieves. Sometimes back, they said that UDA is the party that was harboring like everyone who had kind of a scam or kind of a corruption story, but now we see them endorsing Anne Ngirita, and there is that question of what you just said, the kettle calling, or the pot calling the kettle black.
Yes, but the story may have developed. I just saw from one of the websites of our fellow media houses that she has now been told by the same party to first of all go and clear with KRA and ESCC before then she can run on a ticket with the name of the party. We don't know how true that is, but it is a story that we'll be following up and we will be updating you on throughout the day via our social media pages and our website. Now, the story of paracetamols. Hangover, think twice before popping paracetamol. And I quote, although considered to be a safe over-the-counter product, prolonged use of the drug shows that it can use hepatotoxicity and other complications. I was not so sure that I will be able to read that word. Use of paracetamol among heavy users of alcohol is discouraged as there is increased risk of hepatic and renal diseases. Heavy use of alcohol and regular use of paracetamol in management of alcohol-induced hangovers are discouraged as this can increase the risk of liver and kidney diseases. Due to its safety, paracetamol is widely misused for the relief of alcohol-induced hangover symptoms, says a research. Now, I'm not one to advise people to drink because personally I do not, and I therefore cannot be in a position to recommend the best ways to cure a hangover. But this paper, this story on page 10 greatly discourages the use of paracetamol or other painkillers in the treatment of your hangover.
And that's a sad story to know that some people are using paracetamol to cure hangover, because I know misuse of over-the-counter drugs brings other health issues later. Well, yesterday the Kanu Njogo iliwika. Did I say that right? Ama Njogo iliwika. So, yesterday Kanu Chairman Gideon Moi and Secretary General Nick handed over a new gold membership card and a cap to Westlands parliamentary aspirant Betty Andera at the party headquarters in Nairobi. So, Gideon Moi is back and he says Kanu is as strong as it was. And the party leader calls for recruitment for more members. Aspirant seek transparent and fair nominations. So Gideon Moi says that Kanu is the party of the day and it will have transparent nominations, fair nominations, as he also was caught saying, this is Gideon Moi saying that crowds don't translate to votes. Raila knows this better. You saw him in 2007, 2013, 2017, and even 1992. But he still didn't win. We talk on behalf of the silent majority who make the decision on August 9. The rest is just a show. Now, let the dance begin. Wow.
On page 16. There is a cartoon and I am not sure what to make of it. I mean, there are two characters that I am definitely sure who they are. This one of them is Kalonzo and the other one is Charity Ngilu. And I may know that this is Kalonzo because his shirt is filled with patterns of sliced up watermelon. And he is being pulled against his will towards an arc written Azimio by Charity Ngilu. and he is really trying to resist. Well, make of that what you will. It's could it mean that Kalonzo is being forced by Ngilu towards Azimio against his will or something? I don't know.
Well, there is that call. Kalonzo has been continuously being called to join Azimio, and his friends, of course, they are political friends. Or they are friends, I think.
Yes.
Keep telling him, hey, this is the party. And that's why sometimes back I told you that once Oka will split in some way. That's my opinion. It will split in some way, because I feel like Gideon Moi is more affiliated to Azimio than Kalonzo is. So Gideon Moi could opt to take his KANU party to Azimio, while Oka will be left now with Wiper party among other maybe smaller parties, and that's why maybe they are trying to pull him to the to that ship. Well, it's something we are hoping to see how it transpires, and we know either person who goes to Azimio, there is weight.
Yes.
Yes.
And well, yesterday while I was with our colleagues Getty and Mwadime, they did teach me a bit of Swahili. And they said lisemalo lipo.
Kama halipo
laja. I had forgotten that part. And I think because there's so much talk of Oka splitting and either one of the two candidates going to Azimio, then I think that is something that we could see happening in the near future.
On the Standard newspaper, page 16, there is another cartoon there. Lover, still on Valentine mood there. There is this, can I say handsome gentleman, all suited up in green. And there is this beautiful lady there, all fitted in white. And the gentleman is in a suit called Political, while the lady is in a gown called Parties. So they form the Political Parties wedding or union. And then the gentleman says, I take you to be my lawfully wedded wife until nominations do us part. Wow. And then the lady, okay, she didn't say yes though, but there is all love in it. However, waiting on the other side, and the lady is holding an MOU.
Yeah.
Yes, the lady is holding an MOU of what binds their union. However, on the other end, there is tough new nominations rule. So it's like to say, after this union and the tough new nominations rules, will the wedding still be there? Something
until nominations do us part. That is the time when political parties break apart.
Yes.
And this time round, it is even more challenging because we no longer have single political parties that are, running for certain positions in the government. Now we have multiple political parties in big bodies called alliances, and we are eager to see how that plays out once the nominations come around. Will they break apart? Will they stand together? We will know. Time will tell everything. Now on page 3, that is the story of the first Kenyan to disclose his HIV status, who died at 63 years old. When Dr. Joe Muriuki came out publicly about his HIV status in the late 1980s, he did not know the impact it would have in his life and those around him. On September 20th, 1987, he publicly declared that he was HIV positive, becoming the first Kenyan to do so. His doctor had told him that he had less than 90 days to live, but he defied the prognosis and lived with the virus for almost 4 decades until he breathed his last on Monday evening. And I think it goes to that I have to say that he did not die of HIV. Dr. Muriuki succumbed after struggling with cancer of the esophagus for 2 years. Yes.
So HIV is not like a killer disease like you would put it. However, be careful.
Yes, indeed.
Don't sleep around among other. I think that is one of the major causes of HIV. So let's take care. You see, nowadays, and it's sad to say that a lot of young girls particularly are more afraid of getting pregnant than getting HIV. And a lot of young boys are not afraid of anything. They just mind about pleasure. And it's quite sad. Statistics show that. And we hope everybody can take care.
Yes, yes, we do. And it's interesting because back then, things are not as they are now. Now we
Sure.
have a better understanding of the virus, and we know that people can live with it. You know, once you get it, it is not a death sentence as people thought earlier on. Because back then, Dr. Morioki's doctor had given him less than 90 days to live. And yet he lived to be 63 years old.
Yes. I wanted us to check on this story on page 4 of the Standard newspaper, and that's the story about ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi, who was on Sunday. They were with the Kenya Kwanza Larry in Ignarwa in Baringo County. I'm still struggling to read that word. And according to Joshua Nyamori, who is a lawyer, Mudavadi now understands the role of aggression, or the role aggression plays in attracting supporters, and he's probably thinking by adapting the strategy, he will be able to attract more followers. Well, it's real. Mudavadi caused some earthquake, and there has been lots of talks around his decision, and critics say he's on Ruto's coattails to save his political career. Well, those are people who feel like Mudavadi was losing it politically, and he went to form an alliance with UDA to save himself. I don't know what you think about that. You can send us your feedback on our socials. That is Dissect TV, all over Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. However, ANC leaders claim he has had enough of betrayals and ridicule. So this is ANC leader Mudavadi saying that I have had enough. I am not taking it again. However, this move has seen a lot of some of his defecting to DAPK, as well as defecting to ODM. And Savula, who was Mudavadi's deputy in ANC, also defected to DAPK, while another one of the MPs, who is Osotsi, defected to ODM. And Eugene Wamalwa, cabinet secretary, says it was very uncharacteristic of Mudavadi to be an attack dog. He's been the gentleman of Kenyan politics. I'm disappointed. I don't know what he ate that day. That is the earthquake day. We thought he's taking us to State House, but now he's taking us to wheelbarrow, and we don't fall for that, he says. Savula also alleges that to get into the coalition, Mudavadi could have been given some huge amount of money. Yeah.
Well, there is a story that I would want to get your opinion on before we go on break. And that is the story of 4 months maternity leave with full pay for teachers. But well, I think it still falls along the lines of taking care of our bodies. You know, as we said earlier on, grab yourself a bottle of Regis premium water, pure drinking water, such as the one that we have here. The liter of it, crystal clear, perfectly sealed, and I believe that the price is very, very affordable. Now, on this story, what do you think about teachers being given 4 months maternity leave with full pay? Is it enough time? Is it too much? Is it too little?
You know, right now I'm wishing I was a teacher, because 4 months of paternity leave is, I feel like it's good time. An additional of 1 month is quite good time. At least at that time, the baby is at a good stage where they are they are ready like to depend on something else away from. They are not quite ready because we say it's 6 months of breastfeeding, but they're at a good stage where you can leave them with a nanny like throughout with milk and such, and it's good. And then again, the gentleman has been given 21 days contrary to the 2 weeks, so I feel that is good because it gives the family a time to bond, and also the gentleman to like bond with the kid for a longer time. Yes, especially those people who go for long, for like their a long distance kind of a relationship, or the teacher is posted far away from where the family is, and that is something good. I wish I was a teacher.
Well,
This
I do not. And that has brought us to the end of the review of the dailies today. I will be coming back shortly after, I'll be coming back after the short break with my guests, and we will be looking at what is happening in the political arena. See you after the short break.